This is the original Natchez trace. And we're heading 144 miles to Tupelo. You are a National Park Ranger. There. Those are gnats. The best burger in America.
Well, there you go. We're in Natchez, Mississippi on mile marker 0 on the Natchez Trace Parkway.
It is 444 miles straight north to Nashville, Tennessee. This is a special National Park Service route. It is perhaps one of the most scenic drives in all America.
Now, we've driven the Natchez Trace Parkway before, but we've always come from Nashville south, and to be honest, we've always been in a hurry.
So we want to take our time this time and start at the terminus at mile marker 0, where we are now, right near Natchez, Mississippi, and we're going to go all the way up, and we're going to stop as many places as we can. We're going to show you where to camp, the kind of things you can do, and why this is a great RV trip that you need to put on your bucket list. So let's bring them along.
To really enjoy the Natchez Trace, you need to take time, slow down, relax, stop at all the little sightseeing points, do as many of the hiking trails as you can. Stop, slow down, and learn. Most travelers along the Natchez Trace were cane tucks heading home. They were farmers and boatmen from the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys. They floated crops and other goods to market in New Orleans or the bustling city of Natchez, where they sold their flatboats as lumber. The boats were useless for traveling upstream against the swift current of the Mississippi River. Now, on horseback or foot, they faced a 500-mile journey home. Insects and snakes, rain and mud, swamps, creeks, and rivers waited to test their bodies and minds of already weary, homesick cane tucks.
So this is a pretty great biking path, huh?
It's really nice, yeah. Not much traffic.
And you've come down from where?
From Nashville.
Almost 400 and, well, you're about 438?
9, sure, yeah.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Almost there. Uh-huh.
How long has it taken you to get here?
This is day 6.
Day 6?
Uh-huh.
Has it been worth it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I met lots of really nice folks. Really, really nice people. Some bike packers.
They've got
stayed in some bed and breakfasts. Really nice.
So
awesome.
You stayed in bed and breakfast? Did you stay in any of the bike campgrounds at all?
No. A couple nights in a hotel, 3 bed and breakfasts, and each one's been fabulous.
Your favorite city so far?
French Camp was fantastic. And this Port Gibson? Gibson, yeah, that place was gorgeous.
Yeah. As you travel the Natchez Trace, there are numerous spots where you will find traces of the original trace. And this is one right here. This is about between mile 8 and 9 in on the trace from Natchez. And look here, you can see that it's worn down. It's actually, so many people came through horses and made their way here that they actually sunk the ground down a little bit. This is the original Natchez Trace. The stories that this route could tell.
This Temple Mound is just off the Natchez Trace. It's 8 acres, it's the second largest in the country, and it took 300 years to build it.
It was built and used from about 1300 to 1600 by the Mississippians, who are ancestors of the Natchez Indians. And it's unlike dome-shaped mounds that you might have seen elsewhere. This was not used just for burials, as most of those mounds. Emerald Mound here supported temples, ceremonial structures, and burials of a very complex society's civic and religious leaders. It's a very unique place. There is a pathway that lets you walk up and investigate the mound. There's actually a couple different levels of the mound. Pretty interesting place.
It is.
Emerald Mound was an important center for trade, for ritual sporting contests, and for social, political, and spiritual events. The National Park Service now keeps and maintains this place.
Bo, are you a bark ranger?
He'd like to be.
Oh, cool. This is, you earn a badge, and this is just to remind your pet parents to make sure you have bags to clean up with, you wear your leash, you're nice to other wildlife and other people, and you stay away from ticks and
What's that?
snakes, and don't get put in the car. Okay. Him. Don't leave him in the car.
Oh, no. Talk
Yeah,
about
really.
that. What do they say about that?
The Park Service has really been pushing Bark Rangers, a fairly new program. It's coming out to more and more parks, kind of like the Junior Ranger program. But it is for dogs. We want them safe. We want them protected.
And Bo gets one of these for
And
his
Bo
leash?
gets a little thing to put on his collar.
Oh,
That's the big one. Look what you put.
Oh my goodness, yes. This is for Bo. All right. Oh, look. Say hi.
Between the legs, you have pets on both sides.
It's so nice to see.
Get the sniff degree.
It's so nice to see one of our national parks like this that's dog friendly too, you know?
Oh, yes.
There's so many of them, you can't take a dog, and here, this is great. And Bo is a Natchez Trace Parkway park ranger. Look at that. You're doing really well, baby. You're a lucky boy, Bo. Look, put this on him here.
Things running. Okay. Hey, Bo.
Hey, Bo,
Sit
come
down.
here. Come here, Bo. Look what we got. Put this on you. Yeah, this is great. This is Bo's. There it is, Bo. You are a national park ranger.
Way to go, Bo.
Everyone down south knows this, but for those of you who've never been in the south and you do some hiking and you come across something like this, beware. That is a fire ant nest, and you don't want your dog to stick his nose in there. From the late 1700s, the early 1800s, there used to be 50 inns along the Natchez Trace for all the folks traveling back and forth. This is the only one of those 50 that is left. It was restored to look like what it would have been like in 1810.
This is Mount Locust, and it was a farmhouse in the 1800s along the Natchez Trace Trail. And many of the travelers, when they were headed back north again, needed a place to stay. And so they knocked on the farmer's door and asked if it was okay for them to spend the night. And the farmer said, why not? So he set up a bunch of bunk beds, and this was luxury, staying here in the 1800s. believe that this trail was eroded by wagon wheels and people on foot and horses traveling this. It's pretty steep, and I can't imagine how muddy and the bugs and everything way back when they did this.
I mean, the sunken trace here, this is 12 to 15 feet high, these banks that all the wagon wheels and all the footsteps from the Indians to the cane tucks to all the adventurers and the highwaymen, all those who traveled the Natchez Trace. So much history. So those fire ants hit me as soon as I stepped out of the car, and you can see they're still out there. Look at them all. Look at them all. And look, there's one on me there. There's another one. Holy cow. There's another one there. Wow. They're all over me. They're those are gnats. And they're a significant force out here.
They are a significant force. And there's also those great big black bees. I got to look up what they're called.
Carpenter bees?
Yellow jackets or what?
I
They're the
don't know.
great big ones. Huge.
Yeah.
So we got the fire ants, we got the gnats, we got these
Yeah,
incredible
so all
big
that happened to
insects.
us here at a place called Rocky Creek.
Rocky Springs.
Rocky Springs, pardon me. And I won't forget it because of those fire ant bites. This is one of 3 national park campgrounds along the Natchez Trace, and it's a very nice campground.
It's beautiful.
There's 22 spots here.
There are just 22 sites here, and I'm sure it's going to halfway fill up tonight. There's several sites that are already taken,
Now,
and it's early in the day.
a couple things to know, the sites are marked. They're really good. There's a picnic table. There's a fire pit. There are toilets here with running water. No showers.
No showers, but
And-
nice clean bathrooms.
And no cell phone service. We were actually going to stay here and do one of our live YouTube things, but obviously we wouldn't have been doing it from outside with all these gnats. And we're going to move on down the trail. But
I think the stars would have been awesome here. I'm sorry that we can't stay here because of the internet
and the gnats.
and the gnats and the bugs. But maybe
the fire-
maybe
and the
they
fire
go to-
ants.
maybe they go to bed. That was just luck of the draw that you stepped on an anthill.
Right outside my door.
Yeah, luck of the draw.
All right. Anyway, Rocky Springs. Nice campground.
Beautiful place.
And there's 3. There's only 3 right on the trace, but you can find commercial campgrounds right off the trail in many of the cities. So,
We'll have to remember this for when it's cooler weather.
yeah.
I would like to camp here.
Well, since we couldn't boondock that first night because no internet, the gnats, and the killer fire ants, we drove the parkway up to about exit 102, and we came off the parkway, and in the town of Barnett, Mississippi, we found an awesome campground that is right on the Ross Barnett Reservoir. It's a huge recreational reservoir, and what a great campground this was. Alas, we're back on the road now.
This was our spot last night, and it was absolutely perfect for us. It was nice level. There was a walking path right behind us, and lots of grass, which Bo is enjoying. We had a nice, quiet night's rest, and we really enjoyed it. Would come back here again. The bathrooms are immaculate, so nice and clean. A good spot.
And we're heading 144 miles to Tupelo.
This overlook is just off the Natchez Chase Parkway, right across from where we camped last night on this reservoir.
Now, it's a 50 square mile reservoir. It's huge. It's created by an earthen dam on the Pearl River. The exit for the overlook is right off the trace. It's about mile marker 108 maybe, and it's well worth a quick stop. It's a great place for a picnic. Can you imagine what it was like for the original travelers of this trace to walk through swamps like this?
Well, I can't imagine the insects and snakes and what hard work it was. Come on, come on, come on. I know, somebody's peed there. Come on, come on, come on. Only come if you feel like it.
He doesn't feel like it. This is the second campground coming up from Natchez. It's the Jeff Busby campground. What mile is this?
193.
193 on the trace, obviously going up north. And this is a really nice campground. No gnats. I've
Peaceful,
seen no signs.
quiet.
I've seen no signs of those fire ants.
And it looks like just about every spot is taken,
Yeah.
but that's because there's no fee.
No fee, and there's no reservations. First come, first serve. The sites are pretty good. There's a picnic table. Mm-hmm. There's a grill. Mm-hmm. There's a fire pit.
There are flush toilets. No showers, but
there's a building
flush
with
toilets.
a building with flush toilets.
A new building. It's not old. It's new.
But again, there's no hookups at all, so there's no running water. There's no electricity, but it's all boondocking. But it's pretty nice.
It's beautiful.
And it's just a couple dozen yards off the Natchez Trace.
I would like to stay here. There's a nice hiking trail right off the campground, Little Mountain Trail.
And we spoke too soon about the restrooms. They're both closed. Now, maybe they'll be open when you visit, but for us right now, they're closed. Who is Jeff Busby, you ask? Well, the guy the campground is named after is a former congressman from Mississippi in 1934. He's the guy who started all the action that would eventually make the Natchez Trace Parkway under the jurisdiction of the National Park Service. So, thank you, Jeff. We appreciate your work. This is mile marker 221, and it is another place where you'll find the old trace.
The Trace Parkway is here. You walk down these steps, and this is the original. You can see where the wagons and the people, about 10 feet wide. This is what they all used to walk north.
Like Jen says, this trace, the original trace, closely parallels the parkway, but what I just can't get over is how all the traffic over the hundreds of years that it was used has eroded down. This wasn't a creek bed or anything like that. This is level ground. This is the way it was in the late 1700s and the early 1800s when the trace was in use. So much use that this is how much it sunk. This is all from human traffic up and down the original Natchez Trace right here. And it's like that all the way from Natchez to Nashville. The Natchez Trace was not a safe place. There were the bugs, the mosquitoes, the snakes, the poison ivy, which still to this day lines both sides of the trace itself, the old trace. This was a dangerous place because highwaymen, robbers, would lie in wait for those travelers. They knew that those travelers had money. They had taken their goods down the Mississippi, they had sold them, they were coming back to their home. So the travelers would be in groups for protection. But the highwaymen, the bandits, they knew where to set up ambushes, and there were a lot of bloody gunfights along this trace. A lot of deaths, a lot of bodies that were buried, never to be found again. The Natchez Trace was not a safe route.
The poison ivy down here is very healthy, very lush, very green. It's all over the ground, it's climbing up the trees. And the danger is if your pet gets in it and rubs up against you. That's how I first got poison ivy. It was from Bo. So beware of the poison ivy. It seems like every mile or so there's a place to pull off and explore, go for a hike, and check out the beauty of the area.
Ferns and beech, white oak. Those are the trees that line much of the Natchez Trace. But there are also stretches with cedar swamps and longleaf pine. It's kind of a explosion of green, and again, it's all very dog friendly as long as you keep your dog on a leash.
At mile marker 259 on the Trace Parkway, we exited at Tupelo, Mississippi. We were famished, and Mike heard about a place here that was voted to have the best burger in America. We had to stop.
Look at this. The best burger in America.
Well, there you go.
So the smash burger is a steak grind. It has filet, ribeye, sirloin, New York strip, and Benton's bacon all ground up together. That bacon gives it a really smoky flavor, and it won Best Burger in America in 2014.
Okay, this is in 2021. All right, this is my smash burger. Can you see all of the different cuts of meat in that burger? Some onions and some quick pickles they make, special southern delicacy. They suggest that I use loaded fries with it. So, all right, this was the best burger in America. I like the bun, it's a different bun. Here we go. Very smoky. I can see why this won. I'm liking Tupelo already. Tupelo would be our base of exploration for a couple of days. After all, it's a royal city, the birthplace of the king.
We'll have that part of the story and so much more coming up in part 3 of our Natchez Trace adventure. Till then, happy trails.